Hey there, I'm Sam C, also known as Sweaters, and I'm the developer behind Easy Delivery Co., a small driving game where you deliver packages in a snowy mountain town. In this devlog, I'll talk a little bit about myself and then go into some more detail about the development of the game. So, I'm Sam. I've been making games for a little while now. I'm a programmer, but I've always loved art and drawing, but mostly I've just stuck to pixel art. Easy Delivery Co. all started after my university capstone project, which was a fun dual-wielding grapple hook slinging FPS. I had a great team and a lot of fun making it. But I was pretty tired of programming a first-person shooter, so right after that project I jumped into Unity with the intent of making a fun driving model for any sort of video game that I wanted. It actually started as a split-screen racing game. Around the time I was deciding what I wanted as a vehicle, I started watching a bunch of YouTube content about K-trucks, because I thought they were awesome. And I've been a fan of tiny cars for a really long time now already. So yeah, I sat down and modeled a cute K-truck roughly based on a Honda Acti for anybody that's interested. Once it was in the game, I figured why not place some rigid bodies in the back and see what happened, and it turns out it was pretty fun. Everything's done from there. I started by throwing together an environment to deliver in, placing in some basic stores, and I had my first proof of concept of Easy Delivery Co. At the time it was just called Driving Game, I think, or a driving game. A delivery game? I forget. This early map is almost the exact same layout as the final version of Mountain Town, just without any of the polish. It's so weird looking back and seeing this now. I actually almost gave up after this first proof of concept. Not too many people seemed to particularly vibe with the gameplay besides myself. But after a break I came back to it, I changed the camera to follow behind the truck, and I added a little guy that could hop out and pick up and deliver the boxes. And naturally you need someone to pick up from, so I added NPCs to all the stores, and they became the lovely shopkeepers that we have today. These two changes, along with actually adding sounds, was what really got the game rolling. I really just followed whatever I thought I would have fun playing, so if I thought it'd be fun to build a fire, I just went and did it. Easy Delivery Co. is just a game about driving and delivering packages, but honestly more so the driving. The deliveries are kind of just the glue that gives you a purpose when driving around and vibing. That's actually why the packages have stayed almost the same way that they were in the first prototype. They're flavor, not the challenge. They bounce around and affect the driving, but I really didn't want to make a fine game about keeping packages in the back, so it's a super lenient system. There's only ever just one package or payload. It's been really inconsistent in my own code. Even if it's made of multiple parts, it still acts as one, which is why picking it up always returns the lost parts. If parts of the package fall out, there's no punishment since the payload itself is still present. And originally, if the whole thing fell out, it would just reset the car back with the packages restored. I eventually did go in and make it so that the packages could fall out and stay out, because I think getting out and grabbing it is a really core part of the experience as well. Driving is the point of the game, but getting out, living and chatting and surviving is such an important part too. I really wanted to dial in on the coziness, and I think the juxtaposition of freezing to death outside and the warm truck cab or at cozy shop really adds to that feeling of safety. But it was also just an excuse to add random survival mechanics that I thought were interesting. If it's not obvious, one of my favorite games is The Long Dark, which is a really beautiful winter survival game. The game has an amazing and even cozy atmosphere, despite being such a brutal and unforgiving survival game. But even before playing The Long Dark for the first time, I've been really into the idea of making a survival game. So once again, following what I would have fun playing, I figured instead of waiting for my next game to do this, I'll just add the mechanics to Easy Delivery Co. And this weird mashup is what I delivered. But anyway, back to development. I created a Steam page, started posting more about it online, and I was able to showcase the game at an event in Toronto, which was a lot of fun and brought a lot of valuable player feedback. This is when I started really looking for a publisher. I felt like I had something promising and I really wanted to turn it into my first real released game. I considered doing all of it myself, but I had no interest in taking time away from the development in order to do marketing. And I was already finding it really hard to juggle development and my almost full-time retail job. So after meeting with a few other publishers, Oro Interactive actually found me, and they seemed really on board with this tiny little delivery game. I was super nervous about signing anything, but it worked out wonderfully, and the guys at Oro have been awesome to work with. So onto the demo. Until this time, all I had was just the core system. You could select jobs, drink energy drinks, and do deliveries, and that was about it. The goal of the demo was to glue all that together with some tutorial and mystery to sort of onboard players into the real gameplay of just chilling and delivering packages. The demo, for anyone unfamiliar, looked like this. There was one map, Mountain Town. You could see yourself on the map. The shopkeepers stood outside of their stores, most of which could not be entered. MK, or just Dog Guy at the time, was a pretty bare bones version of what they are now. And the main goal was buying a shovel to access the rest of the map and activating the 2 radio towers, one of which requiring a lantern. And there was also these snow piles that built up on the road during a blizzard. After the demo came out, I had an idea of where I was going, but I was really struggling with the game's identity and where I wanted it to go. I wasn't very happy with my design on some of the features, like the shovel and the snowdrifts, for example. I wasn't sure how I could add more to the game without taking away from the core delivery loop. I ultimately decided to focus on just the driving and delivering. I really tried to make sure everything supported what I originally found fun about the game. Easy Delivery Co. really is just a game about driving and delivering packages. I focused on making new maps and intercity deliveries to make longer drives possible. I made the progression based mostly on useful upgrades to the truck instead of items. And I got rid of the map marker. This was by far the best decision I've ever made for the game, but I also knew it would be super controversial. The demo launch also came with hours and hours of footage of people playing my game, and something that stood out to me was that most people never really looked at where they were going. Most people just peeped at the map for a few seconds to see what direction the map marker was moving instead of following the road ahead. I find my own game very fun and relaxing, and I think part of that is being able to navigate the roads like it's the back of your hand. It was really fun for me to do whole deliveries without looking at the map, especially in the areas I just made and hadn't driven much on. I couldn't shake the feeling that the map marker was basically stopping so many players from learning the roads because they simply never needed to, which meant that they wouldn't really be able to find the game fun in the same way that I did. To me, navigating is also just a fun challenge to overcome. It's something I love in other games like Hollow Knight or The Long Dark or even Metroid. But even so, I couldn't just take the marker away. I had to make sure it was as approachable as possible by adding the road signs and emphasizing the store names. I also decided very last minute to add the distance meter that pops up, since the drop-off points aren't as clearly marked as stores. And fun fact, there is a 100% accurate GPS system under the hood that could tell you exactly what road to go down and when, but it's simply to give an accurate distance for the jobs when calculating the price. But it came in handy for the distance meter, and it could also be used for very accurate CPU drivers. I would love to do more feature-specific devlogs at some point, so let me know what you'd like to hear more about. With that being said, thanks for watching my first devlog. It's always been a dream of mine to actually release an indie game, and I really didn't expect this to work out so well. I'm also super grateful to have such an awesome community behind the game. You guys are awesome.